Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am going to be a rebel and do something. I was gonna say something completely different, but that's not the case. The thing is that I haven't done an individual reading for Crush at the time of filming this. And usually I like to do individual readings for the people that I do the other type of readings that I offer in this channel. But right now I wanted to do a relationship reading. I usually call them friendship readings, but in this case it will be a relationship reading for Joy and Crush. Since we all know that they're dating, I think it's okay if I do a reading for them. It's gonna have the same format as my friendship readings. The only difference is that we're just going to, wear our love glasses. We're gonna see it from the perspective of a romantic relationship, but usually these readings are just for the dynamics of the relationship between two people. Just that I always call it friendship because I don't really want you guys to I don't want to feed into your shipper minds. Anyway, enough of that tangent. Let's just jump into this reading. Let's see. So one card to represent the connection between Joy and Crush. I think some people have been asking me for this reading, but I always go like, eventually, and then I just don't do it for some reason. So one card to represent Crush in this relationship. And then one card to represent Joy in this relationship. Okay. So let's start. So this is a new deck and I really enjoy it. I do feel that for the intentions that this deck was bought for, they're very good. But in this case, the reader was, me, ain't that good. So I'll do my best. So here we have Truth Be Told, number 14. Here we have an owl, we have a window, and like petals of sorts, and a golden mask. So with this, it feels like this card is supposed to represent how their connection is one filled with honesty, truth, and a sense of being pure and sincere, right? So it definitely feels like their connection was built on a very nice foundation, right? They have a relationship that was meant to be very caring, that was meant to be very nourishing and very not careful as in like, cautious, but careful as in like they're both taking baby steps towards each other. It seems like they're both growing together slowly. So with the owl, there's a sense of knowledge, right? So they're both learning, they're both trying to understand how relationships work or understand each other as people, as individuals. Also with this window, the first thing that I thought of was like a portal or transporting someone to another world, another dimension of sorts. So it also kind of felt like, you know how they say that the eyes are the windows to the soul? Something along those lines, because this window is kind of like showing the insides of this owl, which is another world. So I do feel that the foundation that they both carry in the relationship is one of in-depth truth, right? They're both bearing their souls to each other, they're very honest to each other, and they are very understanding of their thoughts, their ideas. There's no judgment in this relationship. Now, with the golden mask here, I do feel that they both have dug very deep within each other's personalities in a way that they can treasure who they truly are with each other. So I do think they have both been very vulnerable and open, and that has allowed for both of them to really treasure the relationship for what it is, and also treasure each other for who they are. Now the petals right here, it feels like there's this sense of there's very light energy, right? In the sense of like there's no baggage, there is nothing holding them back or weighing them down. Seems like they do have a connection that is very free flowing. They both feel like their independence is in a good position, their relationship is in a good position. They both feel very lightweight in that sense, right? Like there's nothing holding them back, nothing tying them down. So that's like the vibes of their relationship as a whole. So now the card that represents Crush in this relationship is the Knight of Wands reverse. So there's this sense of I don't think it's lack of adventure, but more like he feels like he he doesn't know how to move forward or how to push forward. Usually the Knight of Wands upright talks about a person that is adventurous, someone that is always jumping into the unknown and learning about new things. This is Sagittarius energy, so that's why I think of adventure. Also, with that being said, I also think of someone that's very optimistic, someone that wants to continue learning more and understanding the world and just exploring different cultures, anything different from what this individual already knows. But with it in reverse, I do feel the sense of being stagnant, a sense of feeling stuck, or a sense of not being able to move forward somehow. So I do feel that this card is representing Crush's current energy. He did post something that made people kind of worry a little bit, and honestly, I kind of worry a bit too, in the sense of like, I don't know why he feels stagnant. Of course, we don't know him as a person. Well, at least I don't know him personally. So I do feel that in this case, it kind of shows that this card is just representing how he feels at the current moment, right? So he currently may feel a little bit stagnant, like something's not. If there's a project that he was working on, he has like encountered an obstacle that he has not been able to analyze appropriately and being able to like figure out a way around it or a way to solve an issue. Or maybe he has been, little things have been building up to a point where he feels like he can't handle the weight of all of those issues that he may be encountering. So I do feel that this could be something that's going on right now, and it could either be affecting his relationship with Joy right now, or maybe this is just something that he carries with him for a while, to the point that is kind of like a signature of his energy. Or maybe this could also mean that maybe he always holds himself back from trying new things, holds himself back from traveling abroad or going to different places and trying to venture into new experiences and new ideas and new mindsets, right? So maybe he holds himself back a lot, and that could be something that is still affecting him. Now, the card that represents Joy in this relationship is the Page of Cups. So this kind of shows that right now, the dynamics that they have, Joy is the one that is barely learning how to work with her emotions. Maybe Joy hasn't really dated around, or maybe she's just experiencing for the first time this type of connection with someone, somewhere where she feels understood, or somewhere where she feels like she can openly, with no judgment, be herself. And I do feel that in this case, she's slowly venturing and slowly understanding her emotions. She's slowly understanding her creativity or feeding into it, or she is slowly feeling a little bit more comfortable with the things that cannot be seen, right? So I guess in a spiritual sense, something along those lines, right? So it seems like she's, slowly starting, right? Because pages in tarot is supposed to represent baby energy. So someone that is barely starting something, someone that is super curious because they don't have any baggage and they don't have no experience in that area of their life. In this case, it will be about emotions because it's cups. Now, let's jump into the next thing. So how does Crush see Joy? Three of Pentacles reverse. And how does Joy see Crush? The Eight of Coins reverse. Okay, so from Crush's perspective, he sees Joy with a lot of respect, but not necessarily someone he can constantly work with. And by this I mean career-wise, like music-wise and stuff. I think he sees Joy as someone that has a lot of talent, a lot of potential, but definitely not someone that he sees himself working with a lot, doing music. So usually the Three of Pentacles talks about experts that are working together to build something. It's usually the card that I see as group work or teamwork or stuff along those lines. People that are working together in a physical project. So in this case, they're like, the imagery of this card is supposed to be like people that are working together to build a cathedral of sorts, or like a church. I forgot what it was. But in this case, connecting it to this reading, I do feel that this card is reversed because they have different expertise and different interests that will not overlap. So even though Joy is in an idol group and she's a singer, maybe her interest is in something outside of that, and she wants to polish her skills on something completely different from what Crush does, which is music, right? Like, so I'm just gonna say how I see it. Let's say Joy prefers to be an actress and she wants to work on that. Well, if Crush continues doing music, they're not going to overlap, so they may not work together. Even if they may have projects where they will contribute to like the pieces of making it, they're not like directly working with each other. So you know how they had a song together? I don't think they're gonna have another one together. And I feel like this Three of Pentacles, that's kind of what it means. With it in reverse, it kind of just shows that Crush doesn't see Joy as a business partner. I guess in that sense. Now, we have the Eight of Coins from Joy's perspective. So the way that she sees Crush is as the Eight of Coins reversed. Oh, I just flipped a card. Okay, so this kind of shows that the first thing that I thought was lazy, but I don't think Crush is lazy. But that just because I don't think that doesn't mean that Joy doesn't think the same thing. So in this case, it kind of shows that she may see him as a little bit lazy, or someone that doesn't really put a lot of attention into their craft. But yeah, maybe that's how she sees him, since the Eight of Pentacles usually, in this case, the Eight of Coins. The Eight of Coins usually talks about someone that is very hardworking, someone that is putting all of their energy on their project, someone that is finishing their craft, polishing their skills. It could be a teacher, so someone that's about to teach somebody else how to do that craft. But yeah, it's someone that is trying to improve themselves a lot in their career, specifically career. So with this being reversed, that's why I was like, it could be someone that's lazy or someone that's not polishing their skills in their career. Now, this could also be because maybe Joy thinks that Crush doesn't really need to polish anything. Like, he's already good at what he does. There's nothing that he needs to work on. Just something like that. But, funnily enough, I do have the knowledge of what this story is about. I don't know it, like, from the back of my hand, right? Like, I don't know it entirely, completely to be true. Just Google, just a quick Google search. But apparently the story here was that this girl is having like a super rough time. Some like stepmother witch or whatever put a curse on her siblings, and because of that, all her brothers just turned into swans, and she's working very hard to get rid of that spell. And I think one of the things that she had to do was like go for a couple of years without talking, and if she was able to accomplish that, then she will be able to save her siblings or something like that. It was a rough business, right? So with it in reverse, I do feel that maybe Joy sees Crush as someone that has a lot of difficulty overcoming his problems or baggage. So whatever issues he may have, he's not working through them, and she sees that in him. She sees how he tries, instead of stepping forward and overcoming an issue, seems like he has an avoidant personality. So he holds back, he tries to not think about it, he tries to not confront it, or something along those lines. That's the message that I'm getting based on the story behind this one, behind like this card. Now let's jump on to the next thing, which is how do they like to spend their time together. So the card that was about to flip out was the Go the Distance with number 47. I get that card all the time. So with that one being reversed, let me see. I think, if I remember correctly, Go the Distance was, when it's reversed, it could be talking about two things. Either feeling like you lack something, and because of that you want to move forward, or something like there's a fear or an obstacle that is getting in the way for someone to move ahead in their path or in their journey. Or the other meaning could be something like, don't be reckless and be cautious when you move forward. Those are like the two main meanings that I'm getting from this card being reversed. So usually I don't read reversals in oracles unless there is a meaning with it being reversed, and in this case these cards do have that, so that's why I'm allowing this card to be reversed. But let me turn it up right so I can see the image. So here we have maybe I'm pretty sure it's a cheetah if it's moving quickly, right? And a finish line, a desert, a sense of going alone, a sense of isolation, a sense of like not being able to see your surrounding because you're just pushing and moving forward. So I do feel that with this card being reversed, it's strange. So how do they like to spend their time together? It feels like they like to spend their time together like as a way of unwinding from their individual activities, right? So they really treasure and value going their separate ways, but they also like to come together and forget about the stuff that they're doing individually. So the best way I can explain it is that they have a common ground, and they treasure that, value that, and talk about that when they're together. And when they're together, they don't like to talk about their work and their career and stuff like that. They like to kind of keep that to the side. They like to just talk about the things that they have in common and the things that they share. So I do feel that they have a very, I don't know if it's strong boundary, but they like to, I love this word, but I don't know how to say it, compartmentalize their activities, right? So whatever they do at work stays at work. Whatever they do together as a couple, that stays between them. Whatever they have with their friends, that's with them, and all of that, right? They don't like for all of those things to get mixed up. So if they're together, they kind of just talk about how they feel and stuff about their work, but they will not actually talk about their work. I hope that makes sense, right? So let's say someone's having a rough time in their career. They'll talk about that rough time, but they will not talk exactly about the projects that they're doing. None of that. So that seems like how they like to spend their time together. Just they like to be together and kind of have a sense of escapism and forget about other stuff and just build their own little world. But yeah, there's a sense of like they like to either slow down from their individual activities. Something like that. So what does Crush like about Joy? We have the King of Wands. And what does Joy like about Crush? Two cards came up. The Page of Cups. No surprise. And the Wheel of Fortune reverse. This is like the clearest thing I've seen in the reading so far. So the thing that Crush... Okay, so first of all, let me point out this section of the reading it's very clear to me. Like the message just kind of made sense when I saw the cards. So this tells me that in their relationship, the type of dynamic that they have is that they both have a very clear idea and very clear understanding as to why they're together and why they like each other, right? So I want to point that out because I think that that's significant. So then here we go. So the thing that Crush likes about Joy is the King of Wands. So the first thing that I thought of is that he likes how spontaneous Joy is and how genuine she is. Also how daring and how she goes about things and how she's so fearless and how she just, if she has a dream or a goal, she goes for it, like nothing's stopping her. Now I want to point out that she is this King of Wands in Crush's eyes, right? So someone that has the perfect mentality for taking action. So he admires how Joy is able, well, we'll get to that in a little bit, but he kind of really likes and admires how Joy is able to, she knows her limits, so she knows how much she can push forward and how much time she needs to rest, or when to take action and when to hold back. And he really admires that from her. He really likes that. He really likes how spontaneous she is. So when she wants to do something, she just goes for it. He really likes that. Now, I wanted to point this out because he sees himself as this Knight of Wands, but he likes Joy for being like a King of Wands. So taking action and getting things done is something that he's struggling with, and that's why it makes sense that he really likes and admires that side of Joy. Now, with Joy, the thing that she likes about Crush is the Page of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune reversed. So the Page of Cups, that's how she sees herself, and that's what she likes about Crush. So this is a sign of mirroring, right? So usually when we talk about mirroring in relationships, there's a sense of you have two people that are able to see themselves in the other person. That's the best way I can describe it. So this Page of Cups kind of shows that she really likes how young Crush is with his emotions, how he's also learning, how he's also very curious about how he feels. You know, seems like he could be very intuitive or very sensitive or pretty in tune with his emotions and his inner self. There's this sense of being very pure, being very, how should I put it, very cute as well. Like maybe she finds him very cute. um, it's weird because the things that she likes about him are things that she has herself as well. So this is pretty funny, right? What Crush likes about Joy is something that he lacks, and what Joy likes about Crush is something that she already has. And I don't know, I think she's aware of having those things as well. So she likes how similar they are, and Crush likes how different they are. And I think that's pretty interesting to point out. Now, the other card that came out was the Wheel of Fortune reverse. So this kind of feels, the only thing I got with that card was that the thing that Joy likes about Crush is that she picked him. It's not like she was like, oh, it was fated, it was meant to be. No, she picked him. She I don't know how else to put it, but that's what she likes about him. She just likes that she picked him. She was like, yeah, I want to date you, and that's what's going to happen, right? She didn't feel like some external force came into play and was like, be with this guy. No, she was just like, yeah, I want him, and I'm going to take him. So that's kind of what I got from the Wheel of Fortune reverse, right? It didn't feel fated. Now, the other thing is that with the Wheel of Fortune reverse, I do feel that also she may like how Crush always goes against, I don't know, it's weird to say that she likes that maybe he's not as lucky. I don't know how else to put it. But usually when the Wheel of Fortune is upright, we think about being very fortunate, very lucky, things are going in our favor, stuff like that, right? So with it being reversed, I feel of someone that maybe doesn't feel that fortunate, someone that doesn't feel that lucky. So who knows? Maybe Joy, I don't know why you will like that someone, that your partner's unlucky. I don't know. But yeah, that kind of came up, right? So she just kind of likes that she picked him, and yeah, I don't know how not being lucky is something you can like about someone, but it came out, so it must be something. So next thing, what has Crush learned from Joy? The Tower reverse. And what has Joy learned from Crush? The Six of Cups reversed. So the thing that Crush has learned from Joy is how to not avoid Tower moments. It's weird, right? It feels like a double negative. So the Tower card upright talks about this, this, like, it talks about destruction. It talks about like there's a spark, there's an idea that kind of creates this domino effect of things just not working out, things being destroyed, and that's supposed to be a form of cleansing, right? Getting rid of anything that is not stable, everything that's weak in the sense of like superficial, and by destroying all of that, it's supposed to give you an opportunity to rebuild yourself again, right? To create a stronger foundation, to build upon something more solid, maybe solid values or a solid mentality, stable emotions, to build upon that, right? Build a new path and a new future on a more stable ground, centered and concrete was the word that came up. So with that being said, this card being reversed kind of shows someone that is avoiding a Tower moment, or someone that is very afraid of encountering that type of destruction and facing that, right? So again, I do feel that Crush has a very strong avoidant personality based on what we have seen right here, right? He avoids his problems. He doesn't like to delve too deep into them, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't feel them. If anything, maybe he feels them so deeply that he just doesn't show it to other people. And that could include himself sometimes. But anyway, so with this Tower card reverse, I do feel that the thing that he has learned from Joy is how to face those Tower moments, how to open up about those issues, how to, acknowledge them and work with them rather than push them to the side or being afraid or staying stagnant within that energy. He is allowing himself to feel again, even if it's painful, to feel it, right? And I do feel that Joy may be very good at that, seeing how all those pages energies are right here, and in a way maybe helps him through that struggle, or helps him through those fears, and he has learned how to face them, basically. Now, the thing that Joy has learned from Crush is the Six of Cups reversed. So usually the Six of Cups talks about childhood. It could talk about children. It could talk about healing someone's inner child or someone coming from the past. So this card in reverse, it kind of, the thing that she has learned from Crush could be how to not dwell in the past. How I guess not to be bothered by the past, something along those lines. So I guess I don't think she has learned how to get rid of her baggage as much as it's like not to stress over the things that she can't control, if that makes sense. So if something already happened, something in the past that Joy may have held onto because maybe she held some regrets or some resentment or something like that, what she has learned from Crush is how to let go of that, how to let go of the past, how to just be free, how she has learned how to like heal her inner child, or at least know that it's hurt or something along those lines. So yeah, it could be something like that. And she just has learned how to let go of the past resentments or past fears or angers or things that didn't work out in the past, just to let go of them. That's what she has learned. But now let's go on to the last question or last section of this reading, which is, why did Joy and Crush meet? Why did they meet? What was the purpose of meeting? How many is it? Oh, it's just 2 cards. I can deal with 2. Okay. So the reason that they met, we have my brain just doesn't know. Breathe? I think it's breathe, right? Without the E is probably breath. Right? So we have breathe reverse, and we have never ending story upright. I will start singing. Anyway, so with breathe reverse, it kind of, she's like, the reason that they met was so they could help each other calm themselves, right? So this breathe card kind of looks like someone that's meditating, someone that, practicing breathing exercises, someone that is probably trying to center themselves and bring themselves together. It feels like it is someone that is, how I think they call this, when you cross your legs like that, I think it's supposed to be called the lotus position or something like that. Don't quote me on it. I'm not like 100% sure. I hear people talk about it, but I've never actually gone out of my way to search it up. So I just assume that's what they mean, right? How else will you be sitting when you're breathing and meditating, right? And you can meditate laying down. That's my preferred method of meditating. Lay down and be, before going to sleep, that energy when your brain shuts down but you're not actually asleep. That's my preferred method of meditating. But anyway, I just thought it was kind of funny because she's kind of like in this lily path, and it made me think of a lotus flower, which funnily, I don't actually know what a lotus flower looks like, but I think it's probably those. So this is all going under assumptions and potentials. I don't know. I don't know 100%, but I wanted to point it out. I thought that was funny. But yeah, with this card being reversed, I do feel that the reason why they got together was because they're learning how to center themselves, they're learning how to calm each other down, they're learning how to bring themselves back together and be more stable, and then in a way heal themselves, or at least pause and be concentrated on their present moment and not think of the baggage and not think of the future and stuff like that. Bring themselves into a present moment in a state of being calm, a state of being understood and understanding themselves, right? So they met so they could calm each other down in a way. And the other card that we have right here is the never ending story with number 37. So the other reason they met was because it feels like stepping stones, it feels like building a path, it feels like a continuous form of healing. Healing in people is of those things that it never ends, right? Because as changes come, which is, what is it called? something that is constant is change, right? Things are always going to be changing, things are always going to be different, and that includes environments, and because of that, people as well, and vice versa, right? Because of people, the environment changes as well. And because of that, I do feel that this never-ending story, especially coming after Breathe, which funnily enough, I've never gotten these cards before, so the only card I've gotten before is this one. But the other ones, I've never seen them before in this much detail, at least. These two cards kind of feel like, if you put them together, is like the never-ending story of healing, right? Continuously healing, changing, adapting, understanding, and then solidifying all of the energy to be part of your personality and part of your experience. So I feel that process is the reason why they met, right? They're kind of like helping each other heal, and because of that, they're helping each other through their journey as individuals by working together, right? So I do feel that this is something that they will continuously work through, and that is just part of their experience. That's the reason they met, right? I feel that they probably met to learn how to achieve this skill, or this will be something that they will be working on in their relationship over and over, which is just continuously healing each other, and learning how to do that based on how different they are and how similar they are. So yeah, I'll leave that there. I hope you guys really like this reading. Now, this reading is just to check how their dynamic works and what type of relationship they have. Of course, we already know they're dating, and that's why some of you guys can see this as a romantic way, but this is an energy that applies even if they were just friends or people that know each other. So yeah, I'll leave that there. I hope you guys like this reading. I'll see you on the next one, whenever that is, however that is. Love and healing from my part to you, and bye.